guys, I hope you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to this channel and I welcome you to all the different videos I've been doing on INFJs. In this video, I want to speak to you guys about a question or a comment that an individual called Corinne ALM, asked me or messaged me about or commented about, and I thought it was really interesting, so I wanted to share it with you guys and then talk a little bit about it. He or she said about what you said about INFJs testing people so we can see if we trust them. I do that all the time. I've come to realize that it's not fair to do this because we're so socially smart and intuitive that we'll almost always win the test, which is really that they would fail, right? So what we're doing is we're setting up a trap more than a test, really. Do you get this? So this is her or his comment. I thought it was really interesting because it is actually true what he or she said. I'm so sorry, I don't know what your gender is. It is true that we're basically setting up a trap, and I think you're absolutely right. It's a horrible thing for us to do. But I think the reason why we do this, I think we already know what the answer is going to be, right? And so we already know if we're going to trust this person or not. I think the test is just like a formality thing, because what happens with an INFJ, in my opinion, and this is just all my opinion, is that we have this weird thing that we don't trust our intuition. We want to trust our intuition. We want to trust what it's telling us. And we know that it's right because it has been right so often, so many times, almost every single time, 99.9% of the time, even 100% of the time perhaps. And so, but we have a hard time trusting it because it's basically just a random voice in our head. And if you really thought about it, it's very schizophrenic of us getting all these random ideas and thoughts just out of the blue. You know, you'd be just sitting there and you get this idea and you're like, wow, this is actually true. And you think to yourself, where did I get that idea? I don't know. And so we have a hard time trusting these ideas, especially when we're younger. So what we do as a defense mechanism is we set up all these random things that we do in order to pretend like we're getting the ideas or we're getting answers from outside rather than from within ourselves. Does that make sense? So, for example, as a test thing for friendships or for other people, when we meet someone new, we test them. We ask them all these questions. We see who they are. But the reality is that as soon as you meet someone as an INFJ, you already know who they are, and you already know if you're going to be friends with them or not, if they're going to be a good person for you to be hanging out with or not, if they are a good person in general. You already know all of these things about them. It's just the way it is. Can't explain why, can't explain how, but we already do know all of these things. Now, of course, that scares us a little bit because we're like, but how do I know? I don't know. I just know. And so what we do is we pretend to set up these tests. We do these random things. We ask them all these questions. We'll do all these stupid things to test them. And then it proves our whatever we thought correct. And we're like, okay, cool. Now I can actually go ahead and believe my intuition. Because we've already done the test and we've done a physical test to prove it. And cool, you are the person that my intuition told you would be. So I can actually believe it now, right? I think it's because it's weird, right? I mean, intuition is a really weird thing if you think about it. You're just sitting there in a quiet, dark room by yourself, journaling or staring off into space, which I do a lot. And all of a sudden you get this idea in your head. You're like, oh, right, that's the answer to the question I was searching for. And I do this a lot for myself is because I do a lot of random stuff, as you guys can tell. And I'm always looking for certain answers. I'm always going between choices, No choice is really wrong, but I'm always kind of thinking, should I do this or should I do this? Should I stay or should I go? Should I go to this place or should I go to this place? Should I hang out with this person or should I stay at home? There's a billion choices that make up each one of our days. And for me, each of those choices need to be answered by my intuition, or I try very hard to answer it using my intuition. Now, I didn't do that in the past. In the past, I'd pretend like my intuition didn't know what it was talking about, and I try to rely completely on myself and on my mind and my brain and my logic, which really didn't work that well. And so now I try as much as possible to sit in the dark or sit in a quiet room by myself in solitude and get the answers that I'm looking for. There are so many interesting questions that are out there and in myself, and I use my intuition to answer those questions. But it can be really difficult sometimes, even though I've been working with my intuition for so long and I'm so old. Even then, I have a really hard time kind of believing the answers that my intuition is sending me. Because it really, as I said, it really is the weirdest thing on this planet. Where is this answer coming from? I mean, we know logically it's coming from the collective consciousness, it's coming from the universe, it's coming from the higher being, it's coming from God if you believe in God. So it's coming from somewhere out there, right? But how? How is it coming? And where is this answer coming from? And why? And there's so many weird things about intuition. You just think, but can I really believe it? Can I really trust it? And obviously the answer is yes, you can. But as a younger INFJ or as a person who hasn't used their intuition too much, I know you're probably going to think, okay, I can't really trust it directly. And so we kind of take this loop around. We kind of go around. We do these tests. We pretend like we're asking questions. We do all these things. And we get the same answer. And then we trust it that, okay, cool, now I can believe this answer, right? I hope this makes sense to you guys. It's really important that you guys understand this, because the more you understand yourself and the more you understand your intuition and how to work with it, the more powerful of an INFJ you're going to become. And that's the main point of a lot of these videos that I'm doing, is I want you to become that powerful INFJ that you are already. You know, you already have those powers, talents, abilities, all of that stuff inside of you already. All you need to do is put it out there. And you need to believe in it and then put it out there. Most of us spend a lot of time not believing in ourselves and not believing in our powers and not believing that we have anything good to offer to the world. But I want you to realize that you do. You are a powerful being. You have a lot of talents and abilities, especially your intuition. And the more you can work with your powerful intuition, the more you can trust it, the more you can get into that powerful state that you are always in, that you're suppressing all the time as an INFJ. I hope this makes sense again. If you guys have any questions at all, please message me anytime. All my contact information is in the description below. And if you guys have any private message things, you can email me directly or Facebook me. Or if you want to comment below, I'd love to hear from you guys. I always love hearing from you guys, and I reply to every single message. I promise that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.